CPU 61%. Ooh.
Ah, ah. J'entends ce que tu dis. Peux-tu interrompre ta session pour aller déposer les enfants ici? On va déposer les enfants ici. I need to drop the kids off at the pool. Yes. Okay, you're twisted. Ça va pas être long. Je suis pas comme ton frère. Là. Ça me prend pas 1h30 à aller chier. Ça en prend moins de 2 minutes.
Bon, parfait. On est de retour. And we're testing a couple of things. Awesome, awesome. On va sur le stream tout de suite. IO. Let's see how the output is. Nice, nice, nice. 60 FPS. On va aller voir sur Kick. Twitch. Puis YouTube. Stay hydrated. Okay. This way. Ah, ok. Fait qu'on peut pas... on peut pas faire ça. Good to know, good to know. Ok. What? Just real quick, let's see what's going on in terms of CPU usage. We're at 45%. I think everything's going pretty well. All right. Donc, let's see. Leather worker. Let's see. For the Gaskin gloves of aiming. Okay. We have one in our armory chest. Inventory chest. All right. Let's get a second one of these. Excellent. Any high quality ones? No. All right, well, let's get one of these. Then a Lon Xion leather. Just one. And one of these. Damn, dude. I mean, I can make it myself. Why would I need that much, that many? Ugh. Alright, let's just make one of these. You can't equip right now, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, shoot. It's a waste of resources. Alright. Alright, I might as well sell two of those at a price of 1,500 each. And we're gonna go here, split them up. Go here, 1,500 for one, split, one, 1,500. Confirm. Let's drop some prices here. Let's go for the 23. All right, 23.5. Let's go for a 35 here. Let's drop to a 35 here also. Let's drop to 35. Je sais même pas combien que, I don't know how much they're selling for right now. I'm just going to sell it at that price. I don't know why I would do that. Innovative ring, level 80 material. I think this is a good price, but just 36. Had them in there for a while. Yep, that should be fine for now. I trust duplicates. All of those, good stuff. Now back to crafting. Make sure we have the best gear on. No. Excellent. Now we're gonna craft this. Excellent. This should be the exception to the rule. Okay, that works. Here we go. There we go. That's one. All right, the other things that we need. Yeah, and the thickness. Thickness. All right, so that's, we don't need this. We don't need this. We don't need this, and we do not need this. All right. Next is horse chestnut cane. I've done this before. Search for item. To copy name. Let's go here for shits and giggles. Maybe this is not a bad price. All right, the horse chestnut cane done. And then we want some Dolman steel file. Dolma. Search for item. No. Search for item. No. Very affordable. Whoops. I thought it was the entire thing. Derpa. But yeah, on va crafter. Alright, this should be the blacksmithing. Do we have the best? I guess we have a bit of. Look at them boots. Looking glorious. Alright, I guess we want to do this now. Yeah, we do. Belmont steel file. Crack it up. Do we not want to do this? I guess we want to do this for now. This is after progress. All right. Then we'll do this. This. That's great. Okay, so I think I will do this. 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 %2 chance of not succeeding. All right, and then let's get 3 royal eggs if we can. Royal eggs. Royal. F Royal. All right, so of course we don't have that. Hollandaise sauce we have. The fish and the fish guardian. All right, let's see what we can find here. I need 2 of those. We have the Hollandaise sauce. We could definitely go and fish that ourselves. Right? Or not. Kind of sucks. I have to go and grab those. I need 1, baby, 1. Logging up my space, bro. No, that's not what we want. This is what we want. Okay. Where's the Hollandaise sauce? Who has the Hollandaise sauce? Royal eggs. Search. Reveal. She has them in block 1. Hollandaise sauce, block 1. Quantity 1. Sort. Close. Alright. Now we're gonna craft it. Royal eggs. Yeah, I almost crafted the wrong thing. Would have been scary. Alright, that's 1. Wish not. And then I'm going to change these as such. Yeah, I'm gonna click here. That's what I wanted. See though how, yeah, I think we're gonna keep the progress going instead. My dude. I don't know if we're gonna make it. Oh, we're gonna make it. All right. We're not gonna make it. We actually did. We did. Okay. I guess I could make a couple more to sell for a reasonable price. And it would also use up the mats that I got. All right, well, that's everything. One. That's two. That's three. And that's it. All right. So what now? I think I can go and do my culinarian quests and get a few more levels. A treat of trout. A trout of treat. Culinarian guild. Why shit? I'm behind on all of my quest for culinarian. Hello. Hello, chef. Deliver a grilled trout. All right. Let's get that grilled trout. Do not need this anymore. Ouais, c'est ça. On va juste mettre à jour. Non, c'est video game content. Gaming. Okay. Let's see what's going on here. Creator dashboard. Chanel. Like the cocoa. And I think we're good there also. Oh, yeah, it just changed. A little bit customization. Okay, this should be good. And then that changed also. We're good here. And finally. Finally. Whoa. All right. Ah, scheiße. Dude. What's so... Okay. Then rewrite. Save. All right. All right. right. Okay, so that's done. We did not want to go here. We wanted to go there. Ok. Ça, c'est beau. On va mettre ça ici. Et ça là. I think the only thing I would change in the UX for this as a suggestion would be to flip the chat or put it wherever you want it, because it's not great. All right, anyways, grilled trout. Bring forth a grilled trout. Palaling. Palaling. Culinarian Guild. Ba, ba, da, ba, ba. The hell did you just give me? A sidearm? I don't want it. And then the pan. Grilled dodo. And let's sell that other thing too. Where is it? The grilled trout? No. Where is it? Ouais, on va aussi vendre ça, I guess. Some promise of payments. What's the grilled dodo recipe? Do they have here? Garlic, garlic. They have. Alright, let me buy one of these. And then table salt. And dodo tenderloin. They don't have salt? Alright, let me just go and grab some table salt and we'll do that, I guess. Ah. Okay, VF table salt. Not what I wanted. So used to going there. She is level 57. No, we're good. What? Keep doing what you're doing. Alright, table salt. Retrieve quantity. No. Alright. And you guys. Alright. Well, you're not leveling up yet, so doing what you're doing. And then you. This. You're not leveling up either. So keep doing what you're doing. No duplicates. Alright, we're good. Alright. Food. So grilled. It's already here. We're gonna cook it. There we go. That works. That 100% works. And then I'm gonna go and grab a spoon and eat my food. They did. Culinarian Guild. Guess we can report that. Yeah. And then we want to sell this and this, and also this and this. All right. Make a bob. Aha, didn't make the same mistake twice. All right, so time to try this. This food that I bought yesterday. I'm gonna go and fill up on the water. Sorry, I had to take my shake. What's up? What's up? People are kick. What's kicking? How's it going? I'm about to start a audiobook as I'm playing this. Hope you won't mind. Dreaming of the dream of the dream. This way, no, this way, yes. A meat kebab, whatever that is. Hi Jean, let's go to the library. It's called it meat kebab, right? Nice. Deliver a meat, just one. Uno. Ichiban. All right. Listen now. No, that's not the one. Unfinished. Why? There we go.
What large groups of people actually meant when they heard male generics used to describe public roles. And the results? We discovered
it's a bit loud.
When asked to think of what picture came to mind when they heard these terms, people from grade school to middle age said, a man. One example of the research with young people really hit home. When they were asked to pick photographs for a new textbook called Urban Man versus Urban Life, and several other books with either male generic or neutral titles, they consistently chose pictures of men when the title referred to man, and pictures of both sexes when the titles were gender neutral. It wasn't until the 90s and under considerable social pressure that academic book publishers and newspaper editors and those who edited language handbooks, particularly dictionaries, began to move toward common usage of gender-neutral titles for active public roles.
Oh, that's interesting.
Now, let's look for a moment at how language classifies and stereotypes reality. Language does classify reality, and as we said in an earlier lecture, it also simplifies it. For instance, by using male generics for so long to name public active roles, culture implicitly assigned women to, and rewarded them for taking, more passive private roles in our society, in the arena of the household, the bearing and rearing of children. Now, of course, these are not unimportant roles. They just didn't seem quite as important to historians and the general public as the starting of wars or the staging of corporate takeovers. This public-private dichotomy, which has been greatly undermined since women began taking on careers and having children from the 80s onward, became the fundamental structure for a set of supporting either-or stereotypes. Men in general were seen as physically stronger and mentally tougher than women. This is still reinforced by sports news reporting on world-class athletes. Stories on women medal winners focus on their looks and dress first, and then their achievements second. For males, the coverage is reversed. Begins with their achievements. Men were seen as more rational in their thinking, while women were more seen as emotional or implicitly weaker. There are several examples of male politicians losing important races because they showed personal emotion on the campaign trail. And at least one recent example where an already tough-minded woman politician showed a bit of emotion and became more real as a woman to her female supporters. How about women are over-talkative and men just simply speak far less? Now this stereotype seems to never go away.
Mais c'est parce que ça a été prouvé, non? Ouais.
In the first printing of her 2006 book, The Female Brain, neuropsychiatrist Luann Brezendine reported that a woman uses about 20,000 words per day, while a man uses about 7,000. And she repeated this factoid every day during the time that she was making her book promotions. It just came out of her mouth over and over.
Right, okay.
It turns out she had no idea whether or not this was true.
What?
A colleague, and it was his opinion, so she put it in the book. The problem with this kind of assertion is that it can easily achieve the status of a cultural myth, as it is passed around by not only the 24/7 television and online media, if there's something interesting to say,
Mm.
it is also picked up by the print medium and enshrined as a kind of fact. In the same year, researcher Matthias Mell of the University of Arizona said, since
There we
then,
go.
there's never been a real study that systematically collected natural conversations of a large group of people. at a
Interesting.
time. There's actually no way anyone can make assertions about the speaking rate between men and women.
Interesting.
But he had a study in progress, and he published in 2007. He wired up approximately 400 people with an unobtrusive self-starting recorder that would record 30 seconds of conversation about every 12 minutes throughout the day for up to 10 days. The participant could not tell whether the device was on or off. His findings? Women speak an average of 16,215 words each day, whereas men speak about 15,669 words over 17 waking hours.
Okay.
Different, but not significant. Mel concluded, in fact, that the data failed to reveal a reliable difference between the speaking rates of the genders. By the way, Brizendine removed her assertion from later copies of her book and retracted it on her website. Also, by the way, the most interesting bits of data are the ones around who spoke the fewest words per day. They were spoken by a male, about 500. Strong silent type, right? And the most words per day were spoken by, wait for it,
Men.
a male at 47,000 words per day. When the heck did he find the time to do anything else? Now, despite the apparent lack of significant differences in rates of speech between men and women, research has confirmed that there are basic differences in the talk of men and women in terms of two things. First, why they talk, the purpose that talk serves for them, and second, what their talk means when they are conversing with someone of the same gender or across genders. These differences can make interpersonal communication between men and women very complicated, unless, of course, they're recognized by both sides. So let's look at male and female patterns of talk from 5 to 55. In her book, You Just Don't Understand, Deborah Tannen popularized her own research and that of many other sociolinguists with children and adults on the effects of their gender on the style of and the intentions behind their talk. In her own research, Tannen first started examining videotapes
Yes.
of all ages, children of all ages, who were asked to talk together in front of a camera in a colleague's lab. She began analyzing the tapes with the intention of supporting a research hypothesis around the effects of age on talk. She soon noticed, however, that once she discovered the basic talk patterns of the youngest children, they would be replicated in older children, but not by age, but by gender. In essence, 5-year-old boys behave more like 15-year-old boys and 55-year-old men than like 5-year-old girls or women of any age. One of the key differences Tannen discovered between boys and girls, and women and men, is that they seem to enact talk differently and use their talk for different purposes. When the little girls were asked to talk together in the lab, they immediately sat down, faced each other, and proceeded to talk, eventually settling down to discussing one of the girls' problems. The little boys, on the other hand, sat in parallel to each other, jumped from topic to topic, and when they did focus on a topic, it was on what they were going to do together as soon as they got out of here. She summarizes this basic pattern for children and adults with the phrase report talk to describe men in conversation and rapport talk to describe how women talk. We'll review the main patterns under these headings, beginning with men. Men and report talk. Tannen reviewed research demonstrating that boys grow up in a world that takes hierarchy and control for granted. There's always some boy bigger and more demanding than you in the world, and they're trying to push you around.
Sure.
This is particularly true when playing childhood games that are often large, involving teams of boys, and competitive. In addition, boys are not often spoken to about their feelings by parents.
Not as
Except
often.
for anger, of course, and then they're told to control it.
Why? Okay, fair
Children
enough.
may learn to use physical actions rather than words to display emotions and get what they want. And when they mature, they use talk to do the same things.
Fair enough.
Resist responding directly to a request for service, to avoid feeling in a one-down position relative to the asker. And likewise, they avoid asking questions when they don't know something. In summary, they want to feel that they have what observers call tough-minded autonomy. When speaking as adults, men present facts, data, ideas, and arguments in discussion, particularly with other men, to establish their autonomy relative to each other. They compete to get the floor in discussion, to have their say, and maintain their independence. They use their talk to negotiate their status in the hierarchy, which they perceive to exist among other males in the room. And in general, whether competing with other men or women, men think of talk as a tool to accomplish things, to give information, give advice, solve problems, or take a stand on an issue. Now let's compare men's report talk to what Cannon called rapport talk for women. Unlike boys, who grow up in a world of vertical hierarchy and competition, to remain separate, girls develop in a world of relationships and, metaphorically speaking, horizontal connections, where talk is used to discover how close or distant another person is from you. Instead of larger competitive games, young girls tend to
Maybe have it.
engage in smaller, more cooperative activities with other girls, so getting along is important. And unlike men,
Garlic, you
who
can
think
buy
of
it in
words as
salt.
tools to take action, for women, the rituals of speech, including feelings talk, are used to make connections before taking action. Girls also tend to grow up
Let me grab another
talked
one.
to in some detail about feelings by their mothers. Parents tend to use more feeling descriptors in their talk with daughters than with sons. So girls' early language skills are put to use exploring and articulating internal emotional states. They have the vocabulary and they develop a comfort with discussing feelings. In conversation, women use talk, particularly with other women, to establish connections and to cooperate to maintain those connections. And at least to get a conversation started, talk deals with personal experiences and feelings and is aimed at building relationships and sustaining them throughout the discussion. As a result, women take turns in speaking and in general overlap only to show support for another idea, not to take the floor away.
Wow.
Women are more likely to ask questions if they don't know something and use speech rituals to show connection rather than competition. They tend to use more tag questions. Isn't it? Don't you think so? To implicitly seek agreement. They use more verbal and nonverbal encouragers while listening to others than men do, and more affect or feeling words than males.
What?
So how do these differences in socialization into two different language communities, speaking the same language, affect everyday talk for men and women? Well, in general, they affect not only which kind of talk each gender considers to be important, but also what they perceive to be the intentions behind the
Right.
particular type of talk. Small talk. Women grow up using small talk with other women to become closer with them. Men, on the other hand, use talk to give direction or solve problems. Their connections are made by doing things together with other men, and talk is simply the device that connects them to a common task or activity. To men, small talk for its own sake seems unnecessary or worse, really boring, and many try to avoid it. So the meaning of small talk for building relationships is also not the same for each gender.
You know, I'd push this boundary even further by saying that, let's say on dating apps and websites, women or people who actually, because I don't know man profiles, right? So I can only address to like the female profiles that I've seen, and the female profiles, or the women's profiles, sorry, that use derisive language or talk negatively or have a negative description in them is very troublesome because of that. Let's say somebody is self-deprecative about whatever subject on themselves, and then you're reading this and you don't know them, so you can't properly address what the downside of it is, or what kind of red flag that possibly presents to you. So that's particularly interesting to know that, and to now realize that, you know, if somebody says something like I don't like small talk, right, in their profiles, and they're a woman, then whatever that means to them, I'm not grasping that. I know what the definition is, but what does it mean to them? I do not know what small talk means to them, right? So if between men and women on average, we express each other in a certain way due to the way that we've been brought up, and then what happens is that it becomes a bit more complicated to properly engage with somebody and understand this kind of simple thing. So I think that's pretty interesting, and that's why you don't want to put anything negative. I don't like this. Like, don't put negatives in profiles. Just don't. It's not. I don't see how that's going to be helpful for anyone.
And this difference is concisely described in the cartoon Why We'll Never Understand Each Other. The first panel is called What He Heard. A husband and wife are talking while sitting on the sofa and watching the TV. In his mind, she is saying, "Honey, why don't you just put your head in a vise and I'll turn the handle until your skull explodes." The second panel is entitled What She Actually Said, which was, "Honey, why don't we just turn off the TV and talk?" The key reason for male avoidance of this kind of connective talk when women want to talk about us,
Yeah, it's because it's
is
problems.
one of the reasons men talk in the first place. Generally, for women, a relationship is working when you can discuss it. Talk
Okay.
will only make it better. For men, if it's working, you don't discuss it because
Exact.
it's for solving problems.
Exact.
So if we're going to be talking about us, we must be in trouble here.
Hey, what up?
Time to go into avoidance.
That's what I said.
Troubles.
That's what I said.
Men also don't understand why women have to tell each other their troubles. For women, this is a way of showing connection, sharing something personal, expecting the other, of course, to share in return.
That's fair.
Men interpret the sharing of problems as a seeking of advice. Words have to do something. Remember?
Exact.
Getting quick advice from a man can often make a woman feel her problem has been somehow diminished. And another of my favorite Kathy cartoons drives this point home. Kathy's boyfriend Irving is listening to Kathy, who's in tears about her frizzy new hairdo. She wails, "Irving, I just feel so ugly. I feel so stupid." He helpfully replies, "Wear a hat." She turns on him in anger. "Wear a what?" He says, "Wear a hat. Call the salon. Make them fix your hair. Crisis over. What's the big deal?"
Exact.
And as she throws about and slams the door behind him, she thinks, "Men, all solution, no sympathy." And if a woman ignores male advice giving and keeps on sharing her complaints as a way of getting him to share his, making the kind of connection, of course, that a
Yeah.
female would, the man can get really frustrated.
That's a pain in the ass.
His inner question is, why are we still talking about this?
Yep.
Flaming talk.
Come on.
Cannon outlines a classic example of favorite Kathy cartoons drives this point home. Kathy's boyfriend Irving is listening to Kathy, who's in tears about her frizzy new hairdo. She wails, "Irving, I just feel so ugly. I feel so stupid." He helpfully replies, "Wear a hat."
Where?
She turns on him in anger. "Wear a what?" He says, "Wear a hat. Call the salon. Make them fix your hair. Crisis over. What's the big deal?" And as she throws about and slams the door behind him, she thinks, "Men, all solution, no sympathy." And if a woman ignores male advice giving and keeps on sharing her complaints as a way of getting him to share his,
Okay.
the kind of connection, of course, that a female friend would, the man can get really frustrated. He's already given her the answer. His inner question is, why are we still talking about this? Claiming talk.
Claiming talk?
Cannon outlines a classic example.
I'm not familiar with claiming talk. Wizard eggplant. Let's see here. Maple syrup, distilled water, no. Galago mint, black pepper, garlian. You want one of those? Not chanterelle, yeah, lowland grapes, paprika, spinach, lettuce. No, ruby tomato. We want one of those. Okay. Eggplant, zucchini, laurel, and lavender. Eggplant, zucchini, laurel, and lavender. It's not here. All right, so those things I have to go get. Good to know. Good to know. I think I might want to put a lid on it. What?
Of some same words, different intentions processes when she describes a married couple out driving and the wife asks her husband, "Would you like to stop for a coffee?" "No, thanks," he answers truthfully, and he keeps on driving. So what happened here? The wife, who actually wanted to stop, becomes annoyed because she feels her wish wasn't even considered. The husband, seeing his wife get angry, also becomes angry. The ensuing exchange comes down to, why didn't you just tell me what you wanted?
Exact.
In a world of competition, men learn to claim what they want, when they want it. Dibs on shotgun. So the husband doesn't understand his wife's indirect request. Speaking from a connective world...
That's why I'm always saying that we can talk the same language, but we don't always understand each other because we have our own definitions to words. Like, not only are we using words in a way that everybody universally can understand because there's a set ruling, but the way to understand it and the feeling behind it is to each his own. And only people with the same similar experience when you're talking to somebody can actually understand what you're saying in that context. So this just doubles down on that.
She didn't claim what she wanted. Instead, she intended to begin a negotiation. In her upbringing, to keep people connected and to get what you need, you negotiate, not demand. However, she also didn't realize that when he said no, he was simply expressing his preference, not making a ruling on her preference.
That's an also very good point.
Man and women can interpret the same exchange in different ways. They can take the outcomes quite personally and level charges of selfishness at each other. Let's move from relationships to workplace talk.
Okay.
In her workplace observations of talk published in her book, Talking from 9 to 5, Tannen notes that to resist being one down in meetings, men are more likely to compete in conversations by debating rather than discussing topics. Give answers rather than listen to others so they can keep the floor. Interrupt so they can redirect the conversation back to themselves. Expect to be attacked and attack others. And treat this kind of talk as ritual combat. A kind of fight it, then drop it and move on ritual.
Sure.
And perhaps most interestingly for all of us, they are less likely to ask questions if they don't know something.
Oh yeah, that is true.
In fact, let's talk more about this asking.
There's a lot of scenarios where professional communicators, a lot of people that you probably heard of and or know about if you're into that kind of stuff, even as Gary V might do, is humbling yourself to the reality of the situation and actually trying to fix things by asking questions and being humble enough to just say that you don't know the answer so that things can actually move along and get fixed. That is definitely something I've heard.
It may be obvious by now that when a man asks a question, he may see himself as losing status, as being one down in the moment.
Sure.
In her May 2010 retrospective article in Scientific American Mind, Tannen opens with the most widely referenced anecdote from her best-selling 1990 book. It begins with the question, why don't men like to stop and ask directions? At the time, she was actually very surprised at the size of the reaction this received from both men and women. People are still talking about it 20 years later. It seemed to dramatically highlight for most people her argument that men feel one down when asking a question. In fact, in her original book, she pursued this with her husband, who answered that men like to figure things out for themselves. It keeps them in control. And if you stop and ask another guy, he's likely to lie to you because he doesn't know where it is either, and he's not going to say so. So the information you get isn't worth the loss of face by asking. Now, we can see that this might have some serious implications in the workplace.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Make better, safer, and more effective decisions. And here's a scary example from Tannen's talking from.
Can I?
In a hospital emergency ward, she discovered that male interns were willing to risk the health of a patient in order to avoid asking a superior a question about the treatment being administered.
Okay.
Female
That's
interns were
bad.
by her peers as best on the shift. received a poor evaluation from her male supervisor because she asked more questions than the men did. So, in whose hands would you rather put your life in an emergency ward? Hmm?
That's
A young
fair.
man who can't ask when he needs to, or a young woman who can?
Facts.
Here's another one that's interesting. Saying I'm sorry at work. Tannen noted several women who were told by their bosses not to say I'm sorry as a kind of regular part of their conversation.
Right.
It made them sound weak and sounded like they were apologizing for something. Of course, from the women's point of view, that misses the whole point. For women, this kind of I'm sorry works about the same way as hi, how are you, fine works for both genders.
Okay.
It's a ritual way of noting the possible discomfort of another before she offers a critique of what they're saying, or simply tries to move the conversation along. It's clearly not an apology. It's just a moment of connection before she separates. As one woman argued, when I attend a funeral and say, I'm sorry to the bereaved, I'm sharing their sorrow. I'm recognizing it. I'm not taking responsibility for killing the guy in the coffin. How about saying I'm sorry at home? Men seem to find this hard to do because of the perceived one-down position that puts them in when talking to another. But as many women report, men often find other ritual ways of making amends. As one spouse put it, my husband never said he was sorry, but after a fight, my car was never cleaner.
Huh.
Before we conclude today, I'd like to consider general steps you can take to avoid what I call the mystery of the obvious struggle in gender talk. Give up the assumption that we all speak the same language for a start. So therefore, we should all understand without any extra effort on our part.
I've been saying that. Been saying that.
Their fault, all the way back to the beginning of our lectures. As a result, give up the three taken for granted control assumptions hidden away in the first one, in the first assumption we've just talked about. They are, I know all I need to know, so I don't have to ask. Stop mind reading. Ask. My listener must surely understand, so I don't have to reflect back what I hear or see. Please don't assume the other understands you. My listener feels as I do, so I don't have to notice or acknowledge their feelings, or I don't have to give them a chance to express them. Hate to tell you, but acknowledging feelings is really important. Our feelings are what separate us from machines. It's maybe easier for women to do than men, but take a moment and do it.
I'm gonna go and sell a couple of these, $2,000 each.
Good place to start. To summarize, in general, men use talk to do things and to manage their independence, and women talk to build relationships and to feel connected. Both sexes need to understand these fundamental differences in their communication styles so that they don't expect the other to respond like they do.
That's fair.
To help you find the middle ground between the two styles, here are 3 more specific things you can do to be more effective in cross-gender talk. Since many men think that being asked to do something comes across as an order, and they don't like being told what to do, they often delay doing it long enough to feel that they're making their own choice.
Exactement.
So, if you want your
It's so
favorite
true.
man to do something,
It's so
go
true.
ahead. Make it a request for help, not a command, and leave enough time before your internal deadline.
Okay, so there's another thing that we can talk about since we're in here. Male versus female energy. And I think that is one of the things that if you're a woman, and not saying that you should manipulate, but if you're a woman and you are asking for help from a man, they will feel much more rewarded and accomplished as a person because of how we are designed and how we work. So if you want something from your husband, asking them as if they're doing you a favor and they're helping you is definitely, I would say, the way to go to make sure that it happens properly. You might want to throw in, you know, oh yeah, the camera is so laggy. Thank you for the information. I'm not talking much, so check the encoder setting, keyframe recommended to. All right, so I am gonna go and check that out right now. Thank you for that, very appreciated. Here we go in the output. I'm pretty sure I put it at 2. Let me bring it down to 40,000. Or maybe, okay. Let's bring it down to this. Maybe it's gonna work. And the CPU is having less of a hard time. I'm gonna go and check out what it looks like because I do not know. Oh, great. Awesome. Were you listening to that conversation that I was having with myself? In terms of asking for something if you're a female, well, a woman. Essentially, it's makes things much more it's just better on a male's perspective to fill out the need of somebody else or just being helpful. You feel good about yourself afterwards, so to kind of brush off the fact that you're fair enough. Basically, I'm following currently an audiobook about communication, and I study a lot of it. So I'm going over some additional content that is not mentioned and that for me in my daily life does apply. And here, we're basically covering the fact that men and women behave differently and they were raised differently and because of that, their speech have different meaning. When women talk between each other, it's to create relationships and bonds and to communicate in that fashion. And when men communicate, it is to fix problems or plan ahead or things like that. So they were explaining how if a woman tells her man, we need to talk, we as men always identify it as like, oh no, there's trouble, there's something that needs fixing, so we want to kind of avoid that. But anyways, so with all of that said, now he was saying that I'm actually gonna go back like 5 seconds if I can.
Asked to do
Right.
something comes across as an order, and they don't like being told what to do. They often delay doing it long enough to feel that they're making their own choice to comply.
So that's how a man thinks when he's being ordered to do something by, let's say, his woman or his girlfriend or whatever. Again, and I'm not using the word his woman as a mark of possession. I'm just, they belong to each other in that kind of sense. So that's really true for a lot of people, just reflexively, because of, again, how men understand things and how they have their own ego and they have, however they communicate. So he's just doubling down on the fact that you should ask or plan ahead if you know that your husband or boyfriend or, father has that in their DNA or behavior and they're particularly like macho or masculine, then you might want to, if you need something done by Saturday, you might want to ask on a Thursday, because if you say, hey, I need you to do this, and it's a young boy, for instance, it's a child, they might want to postpone it. And you as a parent, you might want to, make sure that they do what they're told. But at the same time, if you're smart about how you maneuver your relationship with your child, because they are an entity up on themselves, you might want to try to, just make sure that you do it by then, which gives them more leverage to control their own emotions, digest the whole experience, and then do it and feel like they did it on their own time instead of listening to you. That's one of the ways I would suggest to like go around the authoritative barrier, for instance. But anyways, yeah, so very interesting stuff there.
So, women, if you want your favorite man to do something, plan ahead. Make it a request for help, not a command, and leave enough time before your internal deadline so he can delay before complying. If you can wait, get him to give you a done-by date in the future. If you can't wait, then use the situational acknowledgement that we talked about in assertive dialogue to focus the timeline. Your mother's coming on Friday. We have to get this done before she arrives.
Basically.
And men, the words "I'm sorry," spoken sincerely at the appropriate time, can work wonders for your relationship. And it doesn't mean defeat it means reconnection. Never underestimate the settlement value of an apology. And as far as directions are concerned, get a GPS. It works great. It seems that men are more than prepared to take directions from a female, as long as it's a female computer. And husbands, when apparently out of nowhere your wife asks a question about what you would like, treat this as an indirect request for herself and the opening move in a negotiation. If she says, would you like to stop for a coffee? Don't just say no. Become more provisional in your style at first. Say, I don't know, would you like to stop? Her next response is the good information that you're actually looking for. And finally,
there's the trick.
Sometimes she just wants to talk.
What do you want to eat? That's the same type of questions. When you have like a friend or a boyfriend or girlfriend and they ask you, what do you want to eat? And the girl doesn't want to, you know, there's a couple of things that I saw online that people had like a couple of good tips and tricks to like get the other to answer. It's like, oh, I saw this new restaurant. Would you rather want this or that? Asking options is usually a good way to go about it in those scenarios, or just asking them, oh, what would be your favorite place to eat right now, right? And then the answer is like, okay, yeah, let's go do that. And then, you know, you kind of hack them into giving you the answer. I like that too.
Put down the remote, turn towards her and smile encouragingly. I know it may be tough work for some, but a little pain means a lot of gain in this situation.
Ooh.
Now, our everyday conversations are affected by our gender in a number of obvious and subtle ways. Those effects may complicate the communication process, but they don't prevent us from doing that most human
I didn't need that.
striving to create stable, dependable relationships with each other. As a result, we talk our way into and out of relationships throughout our lives, and in the next lecture, we're going to outline how this process actually works. Thank you.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So for legal reasons, I can't listen to more than a certain amount of licensed content because you have to pay for it. But I get these things on Audible. It's called Effective Communication. I think it's by Dr. Dalton Cowie, Kehoe, or whatever. From the great courses in Audible from Amazon. And I really love these series because they kind of allow you to do, like I'm doing now, two things at the same time. If you're, you know, your brain is scattered all the time, everywhere, and you're kind of on autopilot, it's a good moment to take your time and educate yourself and bring your knowledge to a higher degree of understanding, or just better. It's always good to have extra knowledge. I'm really appreciating the fact that the more that you learn about stuff, the better you become at communicating, in the sense that, like, if you fully grasp and understand something, you could explain it to somebody else in so many different ways, and makes things so much easier and more interesting in that way. And I've been told many times that people, or some people, do enjoy listening to me talk because of how I talk, or because the information that I bring in is brought in such a way that it's pleasant to learn about that. So I am appreciative of that. Honey, beehive ship, and pottery clay. That sounds nasty. Nasty. I'm just gonna go buy it. Go buy the honey. Honey, honey, ba 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 ba. Oh, I think I messed that up, but that's fine. So that was that. Honey, honey, ba 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 ba. Oh, sugar, sugar. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just gonna focus on playing a bit more. Thanks for dropping by. Just curious to who you is again? Oh, we spoke the other day. Cool stuff. Yeah, I'm just leveling up my my cooking, doing my quests. Because I'm trying to get my gear to the highest level, and currently it is a process. You kind of need everything at level 90 to be able to craft the high gear stuff for some reason. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is, you know? And so I do that. Why the hell go and do that? I do that. That way you go ahead and do that. All right, high quality stuff. Let's do it. Let's do it. That's nice. Okay, so do that. There we go. Grab some of this. Some of this. Some of that. I love cooking chamomile tea in a pan. As one should. As one should. If you don't cook chamomile tea in a pan, you're not a real one. You're not a cook. It is what it is. If you got any questions, feel free to ask. And like I said, I have a deep knowledge of communication, and I like to use it. All right. We're gonna sell that knife. And knife here. And then we're gonna go and sell the chamomile tea. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba. Deliver a Zamil. Zamil. Sounds kind of Creole. Gratin. Zamil. Du gratin de Zamil. Good stuff. I'm not a fan of gamey meat. Not a fan at all. It is Zamil. Zemel. Zemil. Zemal. Sorry. It's just very weirdly written. Zamal. Eh! No high quality Zamil gratin. Sweet cream. I have none of this shit. I do have. No. Black pepper I can buy. She has some. Potato. Would you like a pot of potato? Alright, I need to go to the oil change. The garage. Let me grab a couple of these things. Give me one. So nice. Somebody is taking a spot of the things that they could sell for this and selling it 8 coins. I mean, you're a great person, but you're kind of wasting your space, you know. The whipped cream, and then some nutmeg. Just the one. That's 350. Not a lot of money, but still more than 8. Okay, so the other thing I do like to do after a long time of doing some video games is working out. So we have this magnificent little tool here. I had such a long time to know before how I could use this properly, because there's a groove here, right? And then there's the other grip here also. So I'm like, am I holding it like this, or am I holding it in the groove here? And then, oh, this makes more sense, right? So I used to use it in both ways, but let's do a couple of these while we're shopping. Mashed potatoes. All right, let me grab somebody's going out of their way to sell something that's not worth it. Alum potatoes. I like how there's different color potatoes. Potatoes. Let's go grab the black pepper. All right. Well, that's starting to hurt. Just good thing. The other side. Culinary Guild. Going to the Culinary Guild. We're gonna buy the oh, it's doing it again. It's yeah, I see what's going on here. Is it what's up? Bug encore? On va essayer ça. Settings, stream, output, rate control. It's good. See here. Is it still doing the thing? We'll see. It's not. Black pepper once, and then the other thing is garlic. All right, everything's here. All the ingredients. And then we want to do this. Sure. 1, 2. 3, 4. And then finishing it up. There we go. The gratin is over. All right, there you go. And then, nope. And I still want to sell this pan. Sell the pan. Okay. Next is level 50 quest. All right. Talk to this guy. Diving dove. Funny story. Ha ha ha. Then go talk to these folks. I'm laughing straight to the bank with this. Ha 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 ha. Okay, we can put this back on now. Minza. Is there another person I'm supposed to talk to here? Yeah, there is. Right on. Let's go and talk to them. Let's go back. Yeah. Little amigo. My amigo. Guess not. Guess snot. This huge Pokeball that I'm trying to... No! Let me eat! Ça lag pour vrai, hein? Ok. C'est pas fluide, je pense. Let me check on my phone. Let's see. Yeah, Twitch. No. Can I see my own thing? Okay. Alright, let's see what's going on here. Ok. Bon, voyons voir si le jeu il bug ou il est lent. Yeah, it's still very, very, very choppy. Okay, so clearly I'm doing something wrong here. Uh, I guess I have to change some of the settings. I dislike people who wear colored eye contacts. That's interesting. Let me log out and back in, please. I'm going to do that. Sorry.